All right, guys, we're going to dig into this thing to so that I can get in here and put the second battery in here. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do.
All right, we have to pull the crank arm off this side so that we can get the cover off so that we get to where all the wires are. We're also going to end up pulling this whole unit out of here because it's so tight in there that you just need to get it out of there so that you can work on putting the wires where you need to put them so that they're not going to get stuck or chafed on anything. So,
all right, now that we got this cover off, you can see right in here, this is where that connector is that we have to get to. So we're going to unplug it, and now I've got to...
We have to take the factory battery out so that we have access to the inside where the wires are.
So on the inside of here, again, Phillips screws. I'm going to take these out, and we're going to take the battery connector off here. So we're going to pull this plate out of here, and then this wire ends up going down into here.
All right, guys, you got to pull this lower cover off also. That's protecting the motor down there somewhat. It's plastic, so it's not doing too much. The chain ring's got to come off of this thing. We got to take the chain off. So first we'll pull the chain off, get it out of the way, get this chain ring off. And the only way you can get to those bolts is to take the chain ring off. I think you can get to one or two of the bolts, but you can't get to the third one for sure, so it's got to come off. So now I can get to these bolts to take this thing off, so I'm loosening them up, and we are going to drop the motor now and get it out of the way. The wires unplugged. You can unplug the wires and put it right on the ground if you want and work on it.
All right, guys, so I had to pull the chain ring off. I had to pull the motor out of this thing so that I have room to get up in here. But now I got plenty of room in there. Now I've got to make up the wiring for it. All right, guys, this is the battery balancer we're going to put in on this thing too. So this thing here is a 30 amp hour battery balancer. These things are pretty easy. The wires plug in only one way to them, so you can't really screw up the way it's going. So solder up my own connection on this thing, so I'm going to go over there and I'm going to do some soldering, guys.
All right, I got to apologize for the camera angle here, but I'm soldering the XT60 connectors onto this 12 wire that I picked up on Amazon. That's very flexible. It's a silicone type wire, and it's very flexible. And I did that on purpose to try to route these wires through this bike the best I could. There's not a lot of room in this bike, like I said. I am actually soldering on an XT60 connector right on the bike because I had to slide a wire through a place that you could not get the connector through, but I just soldered it on afterwards to make it easier. Now I'm trying to put the wires where they belong, and I've got to try to get this motor back in and not crush any wires, and there's, like I said, virtually no room in here, but it can be done, but you just got to be careful about it. It took a long time. I'm putting these 3 bolts back in now to hold that motor in position. I've got to make sure everything fits in there right before I can tighten those bolts up. So like I said, I just slid them in there to hold them in position for now. I'm checking. Well, I just actually plugged that XT60 connector in. So one of those goes to the motor off the battery balancer, and it's self-explanatory because it's the only one that'll work going to it. The other 2 go to the battery in the bike and the extra battery that I have on. And again, those 2 can be interchanged for battery, you know, each one, they're the same plug. So it's very simple, that battery balancer. I'm putting the cover on, trying to get it to fit with all the wires in there. That's what's taking quite a bit of time here. Once I've got that cover in there, then I can screw it back on. And I also have put the screws in the battery connector there. So you've got 2 that are straight in, and you've got 2 that are up and down. So you've got to put those in. This is the ones that, you know, go down on it. There's 2 of those, 2 that go into the tube, And once that's in position there, we can start putting this thing back together, get the chain ring back on there, and the chain and all that good stuff. And this thing's going back together now. After this whole project took me a good I would say an hour and a half to do. I know this video is not that long, but I've cut a ton of it out. This is you know, if you want to do this to get a second battery on, then, you know, knock yourself out. But it is it's not a hard thing, but it's very time consuming, and a lot of the bike has to come apart to get it in here. It's not one of the easier second battery projects I've done, that's for sure. So we're putting the crank arms back on, and now I'm going to actually put the battery onto this connector here. I still don't have the factory battery in, but I want to make sure it works before I put the factory battery in. So I'm going to try to power it up now, so we'll see.
All right, this thing doesn't have the factory battery in it. I just put this battery on it, and this thing is up and running. So we now have dual batteries on this bike. I just got to figure out what to do with the wire, because I'm not always going to run the battery.
All right, now I've got to put that bottom plate back onto this bike. That piece, I won't even call it protector, because it wouldn't really protect the motor that much, but it's just a cover that goes over that thing. I've routed the wire under that, and I have it coming up. I'm going to throw the battery on the bike to show you how it goes on there. So,
all right, guys, so that wraps up the second battery install on this CyberBike. So there's a lot of work to it. I mean, whether or not you want to do something like this, that's totally up to you. It's plug and play, other than that I had to make up the harness. You can buy the harnesses on Amazon. They do have ready-made harnesses, but I just wanted to do it myself because I could make it the exact length that I wanted, and I didn't have to buy them in 2 feet or whatever and then have a bunch of extra wire left over. So I do this to pretty much every one of my bikes and trikes. Have dual battery setups on them so that I have the ability to run far if I want to. And I hope you guys got something out of this thing. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. I do stuff like this all the time. And hit that like button and leave me a comment too. So thanks guys for watching. Thank you very much.
all right, guys, I want to thank you for watching my video today. And if you are interested in buying a bike or something, please check with my affiliate links. That helps the channel out greatly. Again, guys, hit that like and subscribe on the way out. And thank you very much for watching. You guys are awesome. Thank you.